feel like I guess it is big enough that I could go in and add more detail to it. Like add some darker areas of occlusion where the panels meet. I could go in and add like doors. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of that stuff is going to be too small. It's just too small. And this is supposed to be about the sky. This is a sky thing. So the city needs to bleed a little bit more into the background than I have it. So I'm gonna add some of this blue so that I shove it back. I need to get used to painting it this way first and not having to edit it, but I don't know. It's kind of like glazing in traditional painting when you add a thin layer of paint to something. Oh, I forgot my tea. This is my way. Give me one sec tea. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go get some tea. All right, that should take. Oh, you can't hear me. The microphone's down here. But that should take a few minutes to steep. It's white tea, so it shouldn't be that long. Where did it go? Where's my 1 sec tea? Okay, there we go. So reviewing this now that I've gotten up. The clouds maybe aren't dark enough. I think that's what I'd say. I'd say that the clouds maybe it's hard to tell where the bottom of these clouds are. I think I could probably go darker with them. These dragons might actually be distracting to the clouds. Like they are definitely stealing the show a little bit. I think I'm going to add a curves layer. Because if you're super non-committal about adding shadows or something, curves layers are really nice. I love looking at it at different. Alright, that's probably good. So curves layer is also good for vignetting your image too. I'm gonna X that out. Okay, so this is bright in the middle. And dark on the underside of these clouds. So I'm going to take, I think, the cloud brush tool that I downloaded like a million of, and I'm gonna try and get this in a few strokes. Maybe I'll select it a little bit, and then I'll we'll add the shadow. Just a little bit, because I feel like it's really hard to tell. Like, I spent a lot of time designing these clouds. Well, I didn't spend a lot of time. I spent an amount of time designing these clouds. And if they don't look like they have bottoms to the clouds, it just feels like a waste. So this bottom of this cloud also has shadow, needs to have shadow. So I will add just a little bit of that in there, like that. I probably need to remove this cloud here, otherwise it's going to look weird in this part. Alright, now I can do it. Maybe darkest in the center. I haven't actually gotten to the opacity part of the lesson, so I don't know how to mess with clouds opacity. Erase that on the top part of this cloud. Maybe I'll add more shadow to this one too. This is the bottom of this cloud. This is the most frontward cloud. Oops, that was the crop tool. I don't want to crop it on that section of the cloud. That's fine. I think that's better. It's definitely better. I think the edge of this top bit right here looks a little bit weird. I think I need to smooth that out a little bit, just because it's farther away. This also looks a little bit weird, how the curves layer is trying to edit this light part. Same with probably the top. Could stand to make the tops of these clouds just a little bit lighter. So maybe I'll add another curves layer. Curves. This time it's brighter. And we'll fill the whole thing in, not vignetting it. We'll fill the whole thing in with black before I start. And then I will go in and try and fix this a little bit. Whenever I use curves layers and stuff, it doesn't feel like I'm painting, but it is very quick gratification on shading. Very instant gratification. That's the word I'm looking for. I don't know, that looks a little weird to me. I think I'm going to erase some of that. Erase it. Particularly in the back part of this. Alright, that seems better. Look at it, both curves tool, because I have the bottom now kind of distinct. Let's see how it looks with the dragons. The dragons are very in your face. I actually might delete this dragon up here. I just don't think it's doing what I wanted it to do. This dragon down at the bottom can probably stand in for scale, if that's its job. And this top dragon probably should actually have a much darker stomach, much darker shadows. So So I'm going to go in and I'm going to pick out very dark, much warmer shadows. Like that. And it probably will curve up onto the tip of its wing. This. That. And that's weird. I don't know why I did that. And it'll probably curve because you see the bottom of the mouth right here. That'll be darker, like that. And then the top of the horns are going to be a little bit darker. Let's see, and then the wing, that in this direction is going to be a little bit darker until you get to the thin part of the skin. And then maybe on the outline, I mean, I feel like he'd be backlit a little bit more, but you can have darkness on the edge where it would be the thicker part of the skin covering the bone, his finger bones. I don't know if they're fingers if they're in a wing, but that's the equivalent on people, so that's what kind of how I think of it. Finger bones. And then these would be darker, the finger bones on this edge. I really should go back and actually fix the anatomy of its wing. It was haphazard what I did. It probably does look a little bit strange. If you know about bats and you know about wings, you look at it and you're like, well, that's not really how wings look. It's not intentional. It's not like I'm trying to be stylized. It's just I did it too fast. Alright, so I make him darker because he's closer and he's not a cloud. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit darker too. Just a little bit. That's kind of nice. Let me fix some of the gradients. I'm getting a little bit too brushy, I think, about this dragon. I'm spending too much time just trying to edit small things. Particularly when this is not an exercise in drawing dragons. The dragons are just here to keep me entertained. The clouds. I don't normally go out of my way to draw clouds, but clouds are always present part of outdoor paintings. So that would be kind of the dragon. I mean, maybe he'd be even darker than that. Because he's so far forward. I didn't want to put too much color on him because then he might look a little bit like he's stuck on rather than a part of the composition. So let me add a little bit more cool light. Try to get it to blend with the gradient tool. This will help, give me an idea of what the colors should look like on the light parts and the dark parts of the dragon, because the computer does some of the calculation for me if I use the gradient tool. That would be lighter. It's the edge, his chest. This would be lighter. I could just make it almost completely solid, almost like he's being silhouetted, but he's not in front of the sun or anything. Oops. There we go. We will add one back toe. I don't know. These are supposed to be his feet. So I think I need to use a different brush. This is still the cloud brush, which is a texture brush, which is why it's starting to look a little bit odd as I go in and get really small on the dragon. There we go. You just take out all of his feet. That's all.